I am sitting in the exhibition Polyphonic, which was organized by myself and Maritza Lacayo, and which brings together for the first time the fruits of all of your efforts to endow the museum with a fund with which we could acquire works by Black artists for the PAMM collection. Specifically, I'm sitting across from two works, one by Faith Ringgold and one by René Morales. The Faith Ringgold is from 1967 and the René Morales from 1964. Together with these works and a couple of others, one of the works that we're acquiring this year by Gordon Parks helps establish a historical foundation for the entirety of the works that we're acquiring through this fund. Gordon Parks was an incredibly creative and multifaceted artist, not just as a photographer, but as a writer, as an author, a poet, a filmmaker, a composer. As a photographer, though, he was really unrivaled, I think, in his ability to capture the African-American lived experience, particularly between the periods of the 1940s through the 1970s. The photo that PAMM is acquiring is from 1963, which of course is a pivotal year in the history of the civil rights struggle. It has an incredible ability to capture the sense of hope and the indefatigable striving for freedom and justice that we associate with that era. The headline on the newspaper that's being held by the young man, "Our freedom can't wait," pretty much sums it all up. At the same time, the image could not be more suited and apt for our current moment when our own democracy is under threat and the gains from that same civil rights struggle are being tested like never before. The image reminds us of the prior generation that sacrificed and fought so hard for those gains, inspiring us to continue on that struggle and reminding us of how important it is at this moment to continue to strive to fulfill our national ideals.
The most exciting aspect of contemporary Black art is how artists are using their own traditional heritage to then blend it in and make a contemporary note on some of the aspects of Western history. And that's exactly what artist Tunji Adeniyi-Jones in his works. The painting that we acquired at PAMM, you can see it all over it. They're colorful, they're bold, they're also very expressive. And in them, you see these figures that are almost dancing with faces that look like African masks, and he's very much referencing West African masks. And then he uses also some little motifs of West African religion, the Yoruba religion specifically, to then create these beautiful depictions that very much blend a very much like Henry Matisse-like style movement and figuration to create this amazing composition that very much takes the breath out of you when you look at them. In terms of how it fits into PAMM collection, again, it's a very exciting trope that you see all over in some of the works that we have at the collection that are from younger artists, where they're kind of blending them and showing the multiplicity of their identity by blending just and showing the different aspects, that they're just not one particular definition of Blackness, but rather they encompass, like in the case of Tunji Adeniyi-Jones, West African, Nigerian, along with his London heritage.
Kwame Brathwaite has produced iconic works that served as fuel for the 1960s cultural movement known as Black is Beautiful. He began by photographing Harlem with the intent of capturing the beauty and lives of African American and African diasporic communities, as well as co-founding two organizations with his brother that served as a platform for Black creatives such as musicians, writers, artists, and models to use this space to cultivate their art and also celebrate and elevate Black culture and Black beauty through these spaces. Now, these spaces were very important to him because an influence within his work, a lot of his photographs were taken in these environments as well as with these creatives that were surrounding him, including the work that we're acquiring here for the museum. In this photograph, we're presented with this Black woman standing very tall and confident with this powerful gaze towards the viewer. One could say she's very proud of her heritage as she's wearing her natural curly and luscious hair, along with a dress from the 70s, yet that has these patterns that are reminiscent of African American quilts. This could have been easily taken today, as this is a very current and contemporary dialogue where we are still trying to find representation for Black female bodies within media and within our society. And another key factor about this work too is that Brathwaite was recently rediscovered, and it's very fulfilling and exciting to be acquiring this work for our collection, but through this new lens. It only shows that lines can be blurred between art and fashion, or high culture and popular culture, and worlds are being merged within art.